It was lovely briefly meeting you at Red Bull and briefly seeing you again at
Yeah,
the Net Worth in New Jersey.
right. Yes. Nice meeting everybody there. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's such a super community, and it's just you and your wife are such lovely, inspirational people.
Thank you.
And so what I'm really excited about today, and my this is my first podcast that I'm doing, so it's lovely to be able to do with it. Someone as so empathetic as you are, and what's really the reason why I decided to reach out and to start with you as my first interview candidate is because it's so inspiring to be together with someone who over like 2 centuries, we're well into this one, and you were such a big part of the last one, who's such an inspirational sage leader. And everything that you've done is just so totally inspiring. And I love the divine inspiration that you've used to come up like with the name for Reebok and how you've done various other things in your life. And so I was really curious, besides setting up the name Reebok the way you did, what other pieces of inspiration have come together for you in your business or in your private life?
In my private life, just a minute. My external eye drive is muttering at me. Oh, she's talking to herself. I thought she was talking to me then. What inspiration come from my private life? It's difficult to think in terms of private life for inspiration because you do so many things. I mean, I was born just before World War II, and I thought that okay, you know, you're a child, and I was only 4 when World War II started, so I have not much memory of before that happening, and so 6 years of my early life was brought up with in a wartime area where you've no lights on, and you know, there's no street lighting, there's nothing. It's different. We had very few teachers, but the inspiring thing for me was we became part of the scouting movement. And
Mhm.
it's surprising how that I learned a lot from the scouting movement, that a bit of looking after yourself and being part of a community, because it is a nice community to become part of. But beyond that, I think one of the things that impressed me most in my life and made most impression on me was that we had to do national service. And when I was
Mhm.
18, we it was the same in USA. They had
Yeah.
in those days the guys had to do national service and go away for 2 years, and that also that taught you a lot of independence, a lot of self preservation, how to look after yourself, and discipline. And I think
Mhm.
that sort of upbringing was good for me when we actually came to looking at business, because you didn't give up easily. We didn't give up easily. We carried on through a lot of things. So and we looked at we were sort of taught to look at problems, whether it was in our sort of early days, how do you cross a stream without getting wet? So it gives you a mindset that you know, these are puzzles and problems, and you can get around them. The
Mhm.
things you can do to so I think probably my upbringing was one of being taught really how to survive
Mhm.
and how to think outside of the box, how to look at life, and when you get a problem, how do you convert that problem into an advantage?
Mhm.
And I think that sort of thing helped throughout my life. The rest of it is sort of like social life, private life, and business tend to get mixed in together when you're running a business. I think if you worked for somebody or you worked at a business and you went home, you've got a separation.
Mhm.
Whereas for me, really, the whole thing worked together. We even lived on the sort of at the front of the workshop. You know, we when we rented our first factory, There
I
was living
saw
a community.
that.
So we lived on the
Sounds
but
like having been a Boy Scout would have been a really phenomenal background going into those living quarters at the beginning of your career together.
oh, absolutely, yes.
And the concept that I work with, what I'm going to be working with the podcast, is called the Sound of Your Life Success.
All right.
And so I was wondering if you were even more persuasive or influential at this point in time in your life, what dream or desire um, would you still like to achieve, and who would you ask for support from?
Who would I ask for support from? Well, I guess I've got to the age right now that all I'm doing really is telling my story.
Mhm.
Uh, whether I would feel that I wish to branch off into a new career, I don't know. But I think if I wanted to go into a new career, I would have to really, really get into technology,
Mhm.
because this is where the world is going. The world is going in technology, and I know that Elon Musk is quite an odd character, because he's on the what's
Autistic spectrum.
he's on the autistic spectrum, so he does
Yes.
things rather immediate. He just does things, but I think you could learn an awful lot from what he does and how he does it, even though he is, as we say, on the autistic spectrum. It makes him a difficult person to understand, but
Mhm.
I think that he's obviously moved. He's changed an awful lot of lives, and what he has done has been very successful.
And is there an aspect of anything that he's like done where you feel he's like mentored you in a special way, or who do you look to for, because it's funny in a way, because my dad was like 97 and a half when he passed, and his sister was 104. My mom was 96 and her sister was over 100. So like in those numbers, you're still a fine young lad and you've got so
I
much
know.
time in front of you to be doing things. So are there still, is there any way like Elon Musk or the technology today is making it easier for you to achieve dreams that you still have and want to pass on as a legacy?
Well, I think that it's nice to think that, yes, now at 88, I've got plenty of time ahead of me. It's nice to think that. I think unfortunately for that is that you move a little better at 20, 30, and 40. I have a new hip. So whatever I'm doing, I'm not as able as to be as flexible and to be able to physically move around as fast as I would like to do. But we are traveling. We do keep traveling, and a lot of people say, well, "Why are you doing so much traveling? Why don't you slow down?" Well, I do believe that if you slow down, you become solid.
Mhm.
It's something that you don't want to move. Once you stop moving, you don't want to move. So I think my ambition is to keep moving, to keep going to New York, New Jersey, to meet a lot more people. And I think that today, the opportunities we get with computers, with Zoom, I think these opportunities are fabulous, because you can meet an awful lot of people. And I don't need to be flying, but
Yeah.
we do travel. We do want to travel, because whilst this is a brilliant medium and we can learn an awful lot, there is nothing like meeting someone face to face. It is
Mhm.
nice to shake a hand and to say hi. So that is, I think, for my future, I'd like to keep doing what I'm doing for as long as I can.
Mhm. And I think it's lovely too, because when we go back and look into ancestry fields, then the storyteller, the sage, was such an important role. And I feel with your generation, maybe my generation, we still have those people who have this sage experience. And it's going to be interesting to see how the generations afterwards, where everything is so short-lived, how that sage part of us is going to show itself. And in your wisdom as a sage, wise man, but with a youthful spirit that is still so out there, what is your last piece of tip or introspection you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think that if you're an optimist, and I consider myself an optimist, you can always look at something and take it as a challenge and work with that challenge, because we love to do what we're doing. I love to continue meeting people, and every time we have meetings, we learn something, and no matter how old you are, you're learning. And I do have some doubts on the future. Now that we've got AI and a few more things coming along, how much the brain is going to be able to sort of figure things out. How much we had to change our name of the company. We had to change our silhouette. We had so many challenges, so many problems that we eventually thought of problems as opportunities. And whether people will still have that same philosophy or work that one out for themselves, that these are not problems, these are opportunities. Because without the problems, you don't start looking to the sides. You tend to just keep funneled straight in one direction. And it's only when a problem becomes an opportunity that you pivot. We pivoted many times, and I know pivoting is new language for me. It was just change direction in my days, but now we pivot and we grew our business. Now you scale your business, so everything is becoming packaged into people who want to be entrepreneurs or who can be entrepreneurs. And I think you have to be an optimist to be an entrepreneur, but being an entrepreneur now is a business.
Yes.
It is a business.
And I've seen that we've reached our limit. It's gone by so quickly. And I just want to thank you so much for being with me today and for supporting me. But I also want to say thank you so much for having the spirit to pivot and keep pivoting and to keep being an inspiration to so many souls on this planet, and to the business people in the business community, to put everything together and always be this especially inspiring, empathic, supercharged human being. So thank you so much.
Well, Lisa, thank you for those questions. They were quite a lot different than I usually get. So thank you very much. And good luck with your podcast, by the way. And it's a privilege.
Thank you so much.
Privilege to be the first one.
I'll be in touch, and it was so lovely. Thank you so much.